Okay, so let's do a review of the prayers. And then Tristan, if you want, you can also put up that app there. Actually, let me just mention.
I'm on my computer this time, not on my
phone.
Yes,
okay, I can do that. I'll connect from my phone. All right, so actually, so tell me the steps of wudu. And yeah, and then, if I think that you have said something wrong, I'll say pause, and then we can ask someone else. So what's the first thing we do when we are doing wudu?
You say Bismillah.
Yeah, and even before that, like we don't do anything explicit, but you should have the intention that, I'm performing this ritual act of worship. It's not like a bath where I'm just like throwing water to cool down, right? Okay, good. So Bismillah, fantastic. Okay, after that.
True. Say Allahu Akbar.
No, for ablution for wudu.
Oh, for the wudu. Oh, okay. So say Bismillah. There's a few other things you can say too, but and then what is it then? Oh my God, I memory lapse. Is it it's washing all the hands, right? Washing the hands thoroughly.
Yeah. So Bismillah, and then we start with washing the hands, right, between your fingers and just like your hands. Okay. All right. After that.
Be your mouth. So you cup water 3 times and spit it out.
All right. Okay. What's after? Barry, where did you go in hiding?
I'm here.
All right. So what's after washing the mouth?
The nose.
Okay, good. Raj, after that?
In the whole face.
Whole face. How many times?
3 times.
Yeah, and you can also do 1 if you want to, but 3 is the maximum. 1, 2, or 3. All right, good. Oh, what's after face?
And then after that, is it the hands up to the elbow?
Yes.
Right, starting with the right hand.
So right hand up to the elbow, including your fingers, right, and then nails. Okay, and then the left hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, after that.
Then it would be your hair and your ears.
Okay, so that's just like a wiping, right? So you don't need to have water flowing, just like back and forth, and then ears in and out. Cool. And then what's after that?
Your feet.
All right.
Right.
I was just gonna interrupt because sometimes it's funny because I had to look on the children's wudu. I don't have it up right now, but there's like a children's like pictures guide to doing it, and it shows the back of the neck. I understand for the woman, but it also shows for the boy to do the back of the neck. Is that just like an optional thing, or are kids just more dirty, or what's the idea there?
No. So you know what? Okay. So remember in the beginning we were saying that there are some, small. I don't know if you were there on the call or not at that time. So we were talking about something like, like even for example for prayers, right? So you may see some differences in how people pray, right? In terms of raising the hands or putting it on the chest or not and whatnot, right? And then we were talking about lifting your finger and pointing your finger and slightly moving it and whatnot. So these are smaller differences, and then it comes based on where people have learned from, right? So obviously right now, imagine you have access to all knowledge, right, on the internet. But when people were growing up, or back in the days, 50 years ago, what have you, the only source of knowledge that people have is their local teachers, right? And their source would have been their local teachers, right? So obviously, as Islam spread around and different teachers went across different places, different schools of thought, right? What became like the major institutions, they had some differences, right? And those differences may come based on the knowledge access they had, right? Or some other principles, so which has caused some of these minor differences. And wiping the back of neck is kind of like that. So there is a school of thought that says that you should wipe the back of your neck for everyone, including adults or what have you. But the reason you want.
I was gonna say the women though, but do the women always do it because they have the hijab or no?
No. So I mean, so the opinion that I follow, or the books or the methodology that we are following, it's not part of the wudu for anyone, children, women, men. It's not part of it. However, there are scholars who do think that it is part of it. Okay, and then what we were discussing, well, now what do you and I do, right? So you obviously have 2 options. One is that you can say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna become a scholar, I'm going to learn and I'm going to figure out what these differences are and why they are different. And, I'm going to then I will make my own choice on which scholar or which school of thought to follow. Or, if you trust the methodology that we are following, it's okay for you to kind of stick to that, what you have accessible to and what you have trust on. And you're not required to go and, kind of investigate that.
Okay, great. Maybe you can choose
It's kind
whatever
of
you want to, though, right? If you like the one thing, you can just do it, right? If you like one of those things.
No.
Yeah.
So see, the reason you're choosing something is you believe that's the truth. You're not choosing it because it's convenient, right? So for example, if you trust that, okay, this methodology, this book, this scholar, they know what they're doing, they have properly studied, this is their methodology, and I trust that to be the true version, right? So you're not going to be like, oh, this scholar has this easy opinion, let me go and follow that. You actually believe that this is closer to the truth, right? So you trust that, and then you kind of move on that. And obviously, if it's something really, really more significant, then you probably want to even do more investigation, right? So for example, if you put your hand on the chest or below the navel, both ways your prayer is valid, right? Now, how you sitting here decide which opinion is stronger? So one option is you go into the details of how the opinions are coming, or you trust a scholar, you trust a teacher, and then you follow what they're telling you.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's not like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever I like, right? Because so I don't do my neck wiping because I don't believe that the Prophet did that, right?
Oh,
Growing,
okay. But if I feel like, let's just say I do it because I feel like, I don't know, I was gonna have a dirty neck, might as well do it. Like, is the thing wrong with that? Is why if I want to do the extra.
Yeah, okay, good point. So see, when it comes to worship, right, extra is not good, right? In a sense that we don't want to do something, make something part of the religion that is not, right? I mean, that if you believe that's not part of the worship, right? You can do extra, for example, you can do extra prayers as an example, right? So let's say Maghrib, we just prayed and it's 3 units, right? That's the obligatory unit, and then we have the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would pray 2 after. Now you can pray more, you can pray 2, 2, 2. This is an extra, right? But then you're not saying that this is better. It's just like, okay, I just have time at night, so I'm going to pray extra prayers, right? However, if you make something part of it, then I think this is how the corruption in the religion comes, right? And then there are many things that happen. I mean, you may observe some here, like some events, some practices, and those things are not the lifestyle or the okay, let me give you some example, right? I mean, so Raj may have noticed it, right? So Raj, the masjid that you go to, for example, when you pray, after the prayer, you say assalamu alaikum, right? And now they raise the hand, they make dua, right? Now, they may do it like they're like, okay, there's benefit to it, and so on and so forth. Now, when you come to our center here, we don't do that, right? Because we want to say after the prayers, you do whatever you want between you and Allah, right? So it's not like a congregational or imam is going to raise the hand and everybody's going to say Ameen. We don't have any knowledge about that the Prophet used that lifestyle. So we want to maintain that authentic or that original way of worship. People come, assalamu alaikum, and then you make your own dhikr like astaghfirullah, subhanallah, right? What have you. So that's a very simple thing, but we just don't want to add things so that it kind of starts becoming a different form and different shape of it than what it was originally.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So in this case, if you believe that the sunnah, the way of the Prophet is not to wipe the neck, for you to leaving the wiping of the neck is more rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right? But obviously, if you believe that it was part of the sunnah or you trust the teacher who said this, then yeah, you should, wipe. But from our perspective, we don't go into those small details and, and that's what I said, let's say you learned something from me or our system, and then you see someone else doing something else at your masjid, you let them be, right? It's not something that you want to get into an argument for, right? Because neither you nor the person who is doing the wiping of the neck actually knows why you're doing it. I mean, we haven't studied at that level of detail. Where did this come for? What are all, you're following someone, he's following someone. So let it be each other.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, we definitely don't know. I mean, yep. Makes sense.
Now, obviously, for example, teachers or the scholars I'm following, they have details, right? So they would say, look, we have this narration, and again, how hadith works, right? So you have a narration that, okay, this person heard from this person, who heard from this person, who heard from this person, that this is how the Prophet did wudu. And if the whole narration doesn't have a neck, right, then that's what we follow, right? Now, someone may, I don't know the evidence for people who say you have to do neck. Sometimes they may have it explicit, or sometimes they may, I don't know, they may be thinking that, it says to wipe the head, right? So they may say that, neck is part of the head. Maybe that's their argument. I don't know what their argument is, but that could be an argument.
I just thought for women, that's why I guessed the women thing, because it made sense. I'm like, oh, if they're gonna put their hijab on after that, it makes sense to kind of have a clean neck. But that was the only thing I could think of. Yeah.
So actually, you know what? The funny thing is, like in general, the principle in the religion is that anything that has been instructed for the men is the same for women.
Yeah.
Unless there's a specific narration. So now, I mean, I know just knowing, where your in-laws are from, I am, very certain that, for example, your wife would pray differently than you, or your mother-in-law would pray, right? Now, this is, I know this from a South Asian background. However, I don't know of any evidence of doing that.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. I haven't prayed with them, so I haven't seen for sure.
Yeah. But so they would do so the way we prostrate as men, they would not prostrate like that. However, what I believe is that that's wrong, right? That's not the correct way of doing it. They should be doing it exactly the way that men do.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Again, sometimes
but don't go and telling your mother-in-law that.
No. I'm not gonna go, cousin. Trust me. No.
You don't want to lose on the
energy. Yeah, exactly. Don't jeopardize the food. That's the main thing.
That's the main thing, right? Good. All right. So that's the wudu, right? Oh yeah. And then quick recap. Oh, subhanAllah, I have to go for Aisha. Anyway, so quick recap. We can actually wipe on the sock, right? So if you have performed the full wudu at home, like you've actually washed the feet, then you put the socks on and you're at work or wherever, and you haven't taken those socks off. Let's say you come out of the state of wudu, you can actually wipe on top of the wudu, on top of the sock.
Yeah, so symbolic kind of thing.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not, it's symbolic, but it's also approved by the Islamic law, right? That you don't have to take that sock off or that shoe off, and then you can wipe on whatever you were wearing when you perform that wudu, right? So as long as you put it on after performing a full wudu and you haven't taken it off, you come out of your wudu state, you do everything else same, but let's say this is your feet with wearing the sock, you just take wet your hands and then you just wipe on top of it. That's it for both feet, right? Okay, quickly, what breaks your wudu? What takes you out of the state of wudu?
Yeah, urination, passing gas, defecation, ejaculation, putting your hands in your pants, sexual stuff. Yeah.
Deep sleep.
Deep sleep.
Good. Yep. All right, and then I put on the video. I think that's a good description of how you do a full bath, especially like for ejaculation or sexual relationship. You can just do a full bath. I put a demo video there in the group chat. If you haven't gotten a chance of it, let me know. I'll put the link again or take a look in the group. Once again, thank you so much. Great discussion. See you guys next week. Have a productive week. Focus on gratitude and worshiping Allah and not deceiving Allah, and using the 5 daily prayers and the Friday prayers. And see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you.